Now, some VR games have this magical ability to allow you to forget the world around you and just become the character. Like when I play Beat Saber, I have fun, but I don't really lose myself in the game. Even games like Thrill of the Fight, I never feel like I'm actually a boxer in a ring with another fighter. But Vader Immortal? Oh brother, if you've ever wanted to know what it feels like to be a Jedi, I don't think there's a better experience than this series here. The saber mechanics are amazing, the force is intuitive, and the progression and opponents just make a lot of sense. So in today's video, we're going to be analyzing Vader Immortal episodes 1 through 3 to determine just how good of a fitness game they really are. So dust off your kyber crystals, grease up your blaster, and open your exhaust port for an attack run because this is Vader Immortal. Let's go. Now I know. Now that you're a Quest 2 owner, you're spending money because these games are just so good. You save up your pennies, but all you do is buy. But are you tired of squirreling away your hard-earned cash and never seeing it grow? My son looked up from his homework and he asked me, "Dad, what's an acorn?" And I smiled and said, "Well, in a nutshell, it's an oak tree." Just like these unpredictable acorns, your savings can grow unexpectedly. With acorns, even small amounts can add up, thanks to the roundup feature that automatically invests your spare change. But what does an acorn say when it grows up? Geometry. See that one there? That's a thinker. So, I'm going to talk about this series as a whole, as opposed to game by game. This has been out for quite some time, and the reviews are mixed, but the overarching theme is that everyone loves the Jedi Dojo. Honestly, when we're talking about fitness, this is what it's all about. The story mode is fun, and if you're a die-hard Star Wars geek like I'm not, I highly recommend playing through it. But I spend a majority of my time in the Jedi Dojo honing my skills. I'll come right out and say it. Out of the 3, my favorite dojo is episode 2, but we'll get to that in a bit. When you first jump in with episode 1's dojo, you're taken step by step through what you need to accomplish. You have a certain amount of hits that you can take, and then the game does a good job of walking you through it. A majority of the skills you're going to learn in episode 1 that are going to carry over to 2 and 3. So it's important that if you've never played any of these, start with the first one. Occasionally you'll get frustrated, but by the time you've clocked in a few minutes, things will start feeling more and more natural. As you get better and better, the enemies get harder and faster and more difficult to read. You need to rely on your sight as well as your hearing to pinpoint which enemies will be attacking and from where. Episode 1 is fun, but if you get to a point where you're getting frustrated by the game, in my opinion, this is where you cut your losses and jump to episode 2. Episode 2 throws you into the mix without a lot of hand-holding. I'm guessing they assume you remember a lot from the first one, so you start out with not only your lightsaber, but a few Jedi powers as well. You can force push, grab enemies, throw boulders, throw your lightsaber, which is a godsend, activate traps, as well as everything you could do in episode 1. I'll be honest, it's a little tricky at first, but man, once you get the hang of everything, you'll be defeating tons of enemies with no problem, and everything will feel super intuitive. You start to feel like an actual Jedi, and you're trashing these fools with the quickness. Episode 2 is by far my favorite of the bunch because of how easy it is to understand in such a short amount of time. Episode 3 gives you new enemies, new weapons, and a whole new set of problems to solve. Blasting stormtroopers and force choking them is so much fun, but these stormtroopers are weirdly accurate, so definitely learn how to block. You can throw grenades, pick up blasters, and do everything you could from episode 1 and 2. The challenge is great, and once you master the tools, the game becomes really fun. Now, how these stack up as fitness games? Well, personally, I would consider it a middle-of-the-road type of workout, maybe even an extended warm-up or active recovery day. It's not particularly intense like Thrill of the Fight or VR Workout. However, when you find the flow and the enemies are coming at you from every direction, I think you can find a true fitness gem in this game. The biggest downfall for this as a fitness tool would be maybe the downtime in between rounds because it stops the momentum, and also how slow it is to start. I also think that in episode 3, when the grenades and blasters are introduced, much of the action slows, which is why number 2 is the perfect balance for me. These games are really a test in reaction time more than anything else, and it would be great for a high school or college athlete to use these to train their brain and reaction timing. I could probably name a dozen games that are more intense than this, And that's okay. I don't really think the developer set out to make this a fitness experience, but more of a Jedi simulator. I've yet to find a game that gives you the feeling of being a true Jedi more than Vader Immortal, and this is coming from a former mid-tier Star Wars Battlefront Vader main. So if you're looking for a moderate fitness experience with challenging and intuitive gameplay, this is the series for you. There's also a super engaging story mode that will give you chills the first time you see Darth Vader. However, the fitness is nearly non-existent here. The Jedi Dojo requires a bit of space, and if you're not careful, you may bash your controller on a wall or table or break grandma's favorite vase playing this, so give yourself a lot of room to work. So what do you think? Have you played Vader Immortal? Do you like it? Don't forget to check out my Acorns link in the description below if you're interested in investing money so you're not a broke bitch all the time. My name is Ari with FitPro VR, and don't forget to get your workout in today.